All right, let's jump right in. What if I told you that everything we think we know about ancient history is wrong? Or maybe not wrong, but just incomplete. Like we walked in on the last 10 minutes of a movie. Today, we're diving into a theory that completely reframes not just our past, but the very purpose of our existence. You've seen the pictures, right? These incredible, massive stone structures all over the world. We're talking about places in Peru, in Egypt, stones fitted together so perfectly, you can't even slide a piece of paper between them. And the question that just hangs in the air is, how? How did our supposedly primitive ancestors pull this off? And this quote, right here, this is the key to the whole thing. This is the core idea we're exploring. What if we didn't start from scratch? What if humanity stumbled out of the Stone Age onto the ruins of a world that was already ancient, and we just inherited what was left behind? Okay, so to really get this idea of an inherited civilization, we need to zoom out. I mean, way, way out. Because according to this theory, the story doesn't even start on planet Earth. It starts in the cosmos, in a history that took place long, long before we ever showed up. So this is basically a total flip of the script. We're all used to the view on the left, right? The anthropocentric view. That's just a fancy way of saying it's all about us. We're the main characters. But this theory proposes something totally different, a Christocentric view, where history is a huge cosmic story, and we're actually the supporting cast. And here's the backstory in a nutshell. Before Adam and Eve, there was an elder race, beings the Bible calls the sons of God. Apparently, there was a massive galactic rebellion, a cosmic civil war, that ended in a cataclysm that just wrecked the solar system and left Earth a ruin. So when humanity was created, it wasn't the beginning of everything. It was actually Plan B. It was an answer to this huge pre-existing problem. Now, I know what you're probably thinking, galactic rebellion, elder race. This sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie. But the argument here is that this isn't a modern idea we're forcing onto the text. It's that the Bible itself just assumes this is the reality of the universe. It's already there. And just so we're all on the same page, when we use the word extraterrestrial, we're not talking about little green aliens in flying saucers. The definition is simple: a thinking, sentient being that isn't from Earth. Think about it. The Bible talks about the sons of God shouting for joy when the earth was made. Well, where were they shouting from? Not here. Okay, so that's a huge epic story, right? Spanning galaxies and eons. If any of it is true, how in the world would we even know about it? How does a story like that survive cataclysms and thousands upon thousands of years of human history? Well, the answer, according to this theory, is pretty wild. It's that the information was preserved in a kind of ancient supercomputer. The Bible isn't just a book of stories and laws. It's a message system. It's a hard drive. Think of it this way. You can treat the Bible like a holy relic, something you put on a shelf and admire. In that case, the surface story is all you get. Or you can treat it like an encrypted zip file. You see the surface story, but you know that hidden inside, there are layers and layers of data just waiting to be unpacked, if you have the password. So how do you crack the code? Well, it's a process. First, you read the plain text, the stories we all know. But as you do, you look for patterns, for things that don't quite fit, clues that there's deeper data hidden beneath the surface. And the ultimate goal is to find the key, the password that unlocks the whole thing and reveals the true intended message. And this is where it gets really mind-bending. The idea is that this message, this data, isn't just written in a book. It's written in stone. It's encoded into the very architecture and alignment of those ancient megalithic sites we started with. Which brings us right back to that opening mystery. Those impossible buildings weren't just temples or forts. They are physical data points. They're time-stamped messages, built to last through any disaster and speak to a future generation. A generation like ours. The specific building style is called Cyclopean architecture, and the name itself tells you everything you need to know. The ancient Greeks looked at these walls and said, there's no way a human being built this. Their only explanation was that it had to be the work of mythical giants, the Cyclopes. And honestly, can you blame them? Just try to wrap your head around this number for a second. 200 tons for a single cornerstone in Peru. These stones were dragged from miles away, up a mountain, 11,000 feet in the air, and then shaped and fitted perfectly. We would have a hard time doing that today with all our modern technology. And here's where it all connects in a really startling way. We know the Great Sphinx in Egypt is astronomically aligned to the constellation Leo, which puts its date of construction way back, around 10,500 BC. Okay, crazy, right? But get this. Halfway around the world, the ancient city of Cusco in Peru, which was laid out in the shape of a puma, a lion, is astronomically dated to the exact same time period. That's not a coincidence. That's a timestamp.
So what does this mean? The implication is just staggering. It points to a single, global, incredibly advanced civilization that was here on Earth more than 12,000 years ago, a civilization that was then completely and totally wiped off the map. So if this ancient history is true, if we inherited a ruined world as part of some vast cosmic drama, then what about us? Where do we fit in? Why are we even here? What's our role in this incredible story? Well, this is the final piece of the puzzle. According to this theory, the answer is found by reframing the gospel itself. It's not just a story about how to get to heaven, it's the climax of this entire cosmic history, and it's told through the parable of the prodigal son. And in this version of the story, we, humanity, are the younger brother. We were given this incredible inheritance, a place in the Father's cosmic family, and we threw it all away. We ended up lost, broken, and enslaved. We were so far gone, the best we could hope for was to maybe come back as a servant. But the story says the Father runs to us, wraps us in his arms, and welcomes us back not as servants, but as sons and daughters. And that restoration, that welcome home, it came at an unbelievable price. So when you look at it this way, the whole point of the gospel changes. It's so much bigger than just a get-out-of-jail-free card. The goal isn't just about escaping punishment or avoiding a bad afterlife. It's much, much more than that. The goal is to be restored to the family. It's a homecoming. It's about taking our rightful place back in the Father's house as full heirs to a cosmic kingdom. This isn't just a story about escaping a fallen world. It's the story of how the entire universe is finally being put back together, and we are right at the heart of it. Now that is a different history of everything.